Welcome to our comprehensive presentation, where we will explore the intricacies of solar energy and the critical factors that demand your attention when dealing with solar installations. Whether you are a homeowner, property manager, or insurance professional, this information is crucial for making well-informed decisions in the world of solar. Solar energy is a transformative force in the modern world, and its adoption continues to grow. However, understanding the complexities associated with solar installations is paramount. In this presentation, we aim to equip you with the knowledge needed to navigate the landscape of solar energy effectively.
As FIA brokers in the short-term insurance space, we've been bombarded with clients adding solar or photovoltaic installations to their property. Each insurer seems to have taken their own approach with many options to choose from, and we as the broker are expected to be the experts. Whilst we will never be solar experts, we can critically look at solar and highlight some key findings, which can assist us in the advice we give relating to the cover on offer and its suitability to that specific client. We aim to better equip you with the knowledge needed.
I was lucky enough to with one insurance underwriting managers and spent some time with two experts from their solar panel. Charles Goos from Seacher Services is an electrician and an electric systems installer with a wide knowledge of different products in the electrical and security industry. As contractors, they assist the insurers by evaluating claims and finding the root cause of the damage. Seacher Services use a wide scope of reputable product and suppliers, including Comb Communications, Nemtech, Centurion Systems, Rentech, SunSync, and Victron, working with leaders and partners within the industry to ensure product reliability and that the requirements are met to the highest standard. They work hand in hand with BravoScan, who is an improved inspection authority. Our second panelist, Anup Rees from Protronics, applies various methodologies, for example, multimeters, oscilloscopes, micrographs, lightning coordinates, and laboratory oil sample testing to determine the proximate cause of failure on electronics. This helps to establish if the loss is consistent with an insured or an uninsured peril.
In the event of a claim against the policy, these are the experts who go on site and determine the cause of damages sustained to electronic equipment, for example, inverters, batteries, solar systems, CCTV systems, gate motors, intercom systems, generators, printers, and household goods. Part of their assessing and claim service is to upload the damaged equipment and take it to the appropriate agents for damage reports. At times, they will assist with arranging suitable replacements for the client. They work with the various loss adjusters to ensure the relevant policy wording is approached with fairness in response to a claim. Should the need arise outside a claim, a recommendation may be given that the client seek the advice and expertise of BravoScan. What do BravoScan do? They conduct independent inspections and investigations on electrical installations, guiding electricians and giving training where needed. They are the middleman between the Department of Employment and Labour and the contractors. Their aim is to help businesses grow, to give guidance and support, including checking the validity of COCs, mapping, and doing 2-year inspections on hazardous areas.
These are the key points for today's discussion. Let's go. Whether your client is a homeowner, business owner, property manager, managing agent, or member of a body corporate or sectional title property, it is crucial that they make well-informed decisions in the world of solar. The law provides protection for people in the way of acts and codes. These are done through thoughtful processes where risk is identified and are aimed at essentially to protect people. The purpose of the OSH Act is to provide for the health and safety of people at work or in connection with the use of plant and machinery. It further provides for the protection in connection with the activities of people at work. This means that by law, contractors are responsible for ensuring what they do is safe for the end user. They are responsible for knowing the risks in their area of expertise, and they are responsible for safeguarding their clients.
Compliance with SANS 10400 standards is mandatory, and building owners and professionals are responsible for ensuring that buildings are designed and constructed in compliance with the latest requirements and guidelines, promoting safe and sustainable building practices. Solar panels can be an additional, substantial addition to your property. Best practice would be to arrange a structural engineer to assess whether the building on which you intend to install the solar has the capacity to hold the weight of the solar. In most cases, where a home is built to all of the appropriate building codes, the roof structure should be robust enough to hold the weight of the solar. A pitched roof is most likely a lower risk than a flat roof, and we will unpack some more of these reasons later. We know as brokers, in structural engineering being outside of our scope of expertise, there is never no risk, and each risk is dependent on the specific circumstances related to that.
Best advice is to ensure that client understands the risk. Contractors should be the ones providing this kind of advice to clients, and the client is responsible for checking the structural integrity of their home prior to the installation. In most cases, a contractor is responsible for the advice to your client regarding acquiring a report from a structural engineer prior to the installation of solar. In the event that a solar is installed on the roof and the roof collapses due to it not having the capacity for the installation, it's very unlikely that a building policy would respond. Typically, policies cover sudden and unforeseen events, fires and floods, for example. If the contractor failed to advise the client to have structural engineer assess the roof first, he could be held liable. But essentially, the chances are that neither the insurance policy or the contractor's policy would respond, and the client would be left to fit the bill.
Fire safety is paramount when dealing with solar installations, particularly due to the risk of lithium-ion battery fires. It's imperative to have the correct fire extinguishers readily available. These fires fall under Class B, meaning dry chemical extinguishers can effectively put them out. Has your client been advised what fire extinguishers should be installed on the premises? In the case of a body corporate, are there the right fire extinguishers in place? And who is responsible to ensure that this is so? Educating homeowners on proper fire safety measures, as well as teaching them to use a fire extinguisher and know which one to use, is essential. These fire extinguishers also need to be maintained regularly in accordance with the relevant guidelines. It's also worth noting that the OSH Act stipulates that lithium batteries shouldn't be placed in a living area. This means that any inverters or battery management systems should not be kept inside the home, whether in a living room, passage, or bedroom. This means that these need to be installed in a separate area, for example, the garage. In the event that there is not proper protection in place, your client runs the risk of the fire spreading beyond their own premises and burning another unit or the neighbors. Batteries should not be installed inside commercial buildings either. We have recently learned about a whole factory building burning down, and it seems that the lithium batteries were the cause of the fire. These should be stored separately, and we anticipate more questions from insurers about this going forward. The risk of being held liable for the spread of fire could run into millions, and where the fire protections are not code, this could result in a claim being repudiated. And this could have a crippling effect on the individual or businesses.
Insurance cover for solar systems typically begins after the installer has handed over the system to the client. Oh, sorry, I'm a slide ahead. My apologies. Contractors involved in solar installations must carry sufficient insurance coverage. It's essential to request proof of insurance before paying any deposits and before any work commences. It would also be prudent to have a written contract in place
outlining the scope of responsibility of each party.
Contractors should be using Red Seal electricians. These electricians have gone through rigorous testing and have monitored experience. They know the rules about their trade, including building science codes and the OSH Act requirements. If your contractor does not have insurance in place, find out why not. In the same way that you as a broker have professional indemnity for the work you do, so should they. There is never a good reason not to have this type of cover, and you as the broker can use this as an opportunity to advise the installer of their obligations, personal and company risks, and possibly even provide a solution. Perhaps the lack of this cover should make your client consider whether they have chosen the right company for the job. When looking at the insurance certificate for the contractor's all-risk cover, consider whether the limit of the policy is high enough, as well as whether public liability and surrounding property, workaway and defective workmanship are included, as well as understand the excesses that are in place in respect of any theft claims, and who would be responsible for that excess during installation and before the handover. Think of how welding can send sparks that could accidentally set something alight and burn down an entire unit. Whilst the solar panels themselves installed on a tile roof may not require welding or drilling, the panels will most likely need to be drilled into place. In some cases, brackets may need to be cut to fit the space, and the connecting of the DC leads could also involve high volts of electricity, and again, sparks could fly.
It would also be worth noting that where the contractor is providing the advice regarding the installation, they would need a professional indemnity policy. In most cases, the structural engineer will be the one providing advice and not the installer. Contractors in different areas should know their material. For example, coastal areas may have shorter maintenance periods because of the corrosion that the sea air causes. It's important for your client to do their own research and ask questions related to the materials quoted and the materials being used. Both Charles and Arno have come across instances where the clients have received a quote from a reputable company. Clients have then taken this quote and passed it to another contractor to do the same job but cheaper. Remember, you get what you pay for. The panels, the batteries, the quality of the installation, and the expertise and experience all play a role in the pricing of the job. The client should also ensure that the contractor provides them with clear guidelines in terms of maintenance. Where the solar is a rental, it's important for the insured to understand whether they need to insure the installation in terms of the contract, and also understand what is covered and what is not covered in the insurance policy. For example, general wear and tear and replacement of batteries is specifically excluded.
And now we're at the right slide for this one. Insurance coverage for solar systems typically begins after the installer has handed over the system to the client. To ensure compliance and safety, obtaining an electrical certificate of compliance is important. Insurers will not be liable for the solar until as such time it's handed over by the installer to the client. Each installation is unique. The correct inverter needs to be installed for which the solar energy is to be used. An electrical COC needs to be signed off by an installation electrician or a master electrician. This is often issued as a supplementary COC to be held along with the original COC for the property. It's important that the electrician or installer has checked electrical compliance before and after the installation. Without the necessary electrical COC, the client may find themselves uninsured. A COC should be issued as per Regulation 8.2 of the Electrical Regulations of South Africa. It is also noteworthy that a CFC, or Certificate of Fire Compliance, should be issued upon the installation of a solar system.
Next up, insurance by design is set up to ensure that the premiums of the many pay for the claims of the few. There is a very real risk of claims for solar, whether theft, weather, or surge damage, may eventually have a detrimental effect on your client's loss ratio and push up the price or excesses for everyone. This may be especially concerning on a body corporate or sectional title policy. We have even asked the questions whether a body corporate policy is the right place to insure solar, or whether a unit owner should arrange their own cover. Adding the solar to the building insurance seems to be what's required of brokers, and it seems unreasonable to decline cover as solar is a fixture. It would be prudent to read the relevant policy wording and ascertain whether solar is listed in the building's description. That would establish whether it should be specified or automatically covered, perhaps with sub-limits in place for various perils like theft and power surge. However, intuitively, the solar does add complexity to the building risk, and as such, it's always safer that the installation is disclosed upfront so that there are no issues at claim stage. And most importantly, you as the broker are not exposed to an angry client or a claim that is invalidated for failing to provide the correct advice.
In the same way that we experienced a change in policy wording related to the exclusion of grid failure, more recently additional T's and C's related to power surge or its exclusion, insurers have already made it clear that there is no industry standard. As brokers, we find this increasingly frustrating, but we also need to understand that insurers are trying to protect and sustain the industry by charging different premiums commensurate with the risk. Brokers need to be very careful not to push claims through that are not power surge or lightning, but rather general wear and tear of old or incorrectly connected batteries. There are components of solar systems that will need to be replaced over time as part of a maintenance plan and are not covered by insurance.
Surge arresters should be installed where the electricity is supplied to the AC and also on the DB board inside, which is DC, AC-DC. Most solar systems are set up with their own DB boards, and in general, the surge arrestor is working when the green light is on. Surge arresters should be installed by qualified electricians. This is not a particularly expensive exercise considering the damage that a power surge could cause if it's missing, and also the excesses applicable in the event of a claim. Prevention is better than cure. Regular maintenance is vital for the longevity and efficiency of your solar system. Homeowners should be aware of potential roof damage, especially in the case of flat or concrete roofs, which may require more frequent attention. Routine debris clearance and water leak inspections conducted at least every 3 months, and particularly after heavy rainfall, are essential to prevent costly damage. It's also important that the solar and inverters are set up correctly to ensure that the batteries don't overcharge in summer. It's also best practice to clean the panels ever so often to improve the efficiency of them. Only specific soaps should be used for this.
Sectional title owners and body corporate trustees need to consider whether the rules drafted for the property need to include specific mention of solar installation and the rules relating to those. This way, each owner has a clear idea of their responsibility and a good understanding of what is and is not insured. We have noticed that some insurers exclude accidental damage to the panels, and therefore it's crucial that the insured acts with due care when cleaning these panels. It's also important to ensure that the person cleaning the solar is safe on the rooftop and won't slip and hurt themselves or damage the solar during the fall. Remember that OSH Act that we mentioned earlier in this presentation. Solar batteries may wear out sooner than expected. Clients should plan for the battery replacement depending on the battery they have selected for their installation. It's crucial to thoroughly understand the warranty terms, what it covers, and to ensure that all documentation is properly recorded for future reference. Some batteries hold a 5 or 10-year warranty, but again, you get what you pay for. So this is something to check before the system is installed. We have witnessed a proactive approach from insurers who are encouraging the installation of surge arresters as part of the COC. The installer must put various power protectors in place. Otherwise, it will not be compliant, period. The insurance provided for solar systems did not include battery failure. Clients need to be aware that there is a finite lifespan for batteries and that they will eventually expire. And we need to prompt them to stay ahead of the curve and consider timely replacements. By providing this crucial information, we can further strengthen our relationships with our clients, demonstrating our commitment to their long-term interests, and show a thorough understanding of their insurance coverage. A noteworthy tip from our experts is to maintain a minimum battery charge of 20%, coupled with a thorough understanding of the compatible appliances for the chosen solar installation. These practices will not only enhance the performance of the system, but also contribute to its longevity, minimizing the likelihood of unexpected disruptions.
The rapid evolution of solar panel technology can pose challenges when a component becomes outdated and needs replacement. Such components may not be compatible with newer counterparts. This can lead to increased costs because insurers typically only cover the damaged parts. As brokers, we often argue the application of indemnity. The policy is in place to put you back in the same position as you were before the loss occurred. Consider a solar installation using 12 panels. In the event of damage to 4 panels and a valid claim on the policy, let's use hail damage as an example. What if all 12 need to be replaced due to compatibility issues with the old and new technology? In the case where the new panels are compatible, but the whole system needs to be rewired to ensure that the new solar panels are able to connect to the battery. Consider where the batteries are no longer compatible with the new panels. Our experts confirmed that there are devices that can be used where solar panels require different wattage, which would allow for different panels to be installed where the originals are no longer available. This would need to be discussed at claim stage, as this could be very costly and may require much rewiring and labor. This incompatibility cover is not included in insurance. Again, most insurers will only be responsible for the damaged parts.
Considering the long-term implications is vital when investing in solar energy. For instance, the potential end to load shedding, yeah, right, or other changes can impact the value of your solar investment. Clients should carefully weigh these factors before making a solar-related decision. Solar can be installed for an improved lifestyle, but cannot necessarily be considered a cost saving. There is absolutely no doubt that solar is a win in respect of how it improves the quality of many people's lives, but it shouldn't be taken lightly. In my experience, knowledge is power. If we can educate brokers and educate our clients and help them weigh up the pros and cons and make an informed decision, that would be good. Solar power.
We are going to just insert here that solar power is also as difficult as the energy it takes to actually present this as first timers. So please, excuse us and bear with us. Over to you.
Solar power is a clean and environmentally friendly energy source. It produces no greenhouse gas emissions, air pollutants, or water pollution during its operation. By using solar energy, we can reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and mitigate the harmful effects of climate change. Once solar panels are installed, they have a relatively low operating and maintenance costs. As a result, solar power can create a cost-effective and stable source of electricity over its lifetime, helping homeowners, businesses, and governments save on energy expenses. Solar power can contribute to energy independence by allowing individuals and organizations to generate their electricity on site. This reduces reliance on the centralized power grids and the potential for power outages due to grid failures or disruptions. Additionally, excess electricity generated by solar panels can often be fed back into the grid, helping to stabilize it and provide additional energy during peak demand periods.
In conclusion, these key considerations are fundamental for anyone involved in solar installations. Being well informed and conducting comprehensive risk assessments are essential components of a successful solar journey. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope this presentation has empowered you with valuable insights that you can share with your clients. These are the experts that have assisted us in taking you through this journey and are available should you wish to consult with them. I am going to take a moment if you can read that.
And we can put it on the chat if you can't. Thanks again to One for your time, energy, and commitment to the FIA members.